we actually get a lot of questions about the church, life in the church. Part of the reason for that is there are so many different kinds of churches. It's really up to anybody who wants to just say, okay, I'm going to be a pastor and this is a church, and rent a room and that becomes a church. And churches are defined by the whims and skills of whoever. Just a perspective on that. Last week, I celebrated, if you celebrate this, 50 years since my ordination. Last week on a Thursday was 50 years to the day from when I was ordained to the gospel ministry. Let me tell you about that event 50 years ago. There were 400 people sitting in a church auditorium. 200 of them were pastors. I had to stand up and I had to give a full accounting of doctrine. I had to give an open, by memory, outline of the entire Bible. I had to outline books of the Bible. Then I was questioned by 3 questioners, including seminary professors. Then it was open to the floor, and there were 200 pastors, and every pastor's got his own kind of quirky little favorite doctrine. So people were popping up everywhere asking me questions like, name all the pre-exilic, exilic, and post-exilic prophets in order. This went on for 3 hours. Then I had to give a 15-minute sermon that everybody could buy into. And then I was affirmed, and then I was ordained, and then there was a service to lay hands on me that I had been found suitable for ministry. You say, boy, that seems extreme. Let me tell you something. If you wanted to preach in John Calvin's day, and you did that without being ordained, they'd put you in prison. What has happened to the church where anybody at any time, anywhere, who gets a whim can launch himself in a ministry with accountability to basically no one, and then do whatever he wants? The proliferation of these sort of self-appointed pastors and these self-designed churches, while I'm not saying some of them aren't faithful men and some of the churches aren't preaching the gospel, it is creating chaos. So you have Christian people everywhere trying to figure out where to go to church. And questions come up. What kind of church should I go to? Should I go to this church or that church? Or what do they have to do and not do? And what are the essential criteria? And what can I tolerate? These questions are legion and endless. So one of the questions that has come in is, should I go to a church that doesn't do church discipline? Well, if you're looking for a church that does do church discipline, you may not find one, plain and simple. When I came to Grace Church many, many years ago, I had never heard of a church that did church discipline. Never heard of one. I grew up son of a pastor, grandson of a pastor. It was never done in any church I was in. I think it's rare today. So, yeah, you've got to find a church, but they may not come close to doing church discipline in the Matthew 18 sense. But you're looking for this: serious about the Word of God, faithful to the Word of God, desiring to exalt Christ, preach the gospel, and listen to this, and pursue godliness, and pursue holiness, and pursue purity, and sanctification. And in the process of doing that, there will be a kind of real confrontation of sin in the church, even if it doesn't kind of work out openly and publicly like Matthew 18. I guess what I'm saying is, find the best of your options. And that's one of the reasons Grace to You's around, to provide for you what maybe you're not finding in your church, you're not getting in your church, to be an additional resource to strengthen you. Not to make you uncomfortable in your church, but to make you more effective in your church and helping them maybe grow into what the Lord would have them fully to be.